So, there's a popular quote that says, "A man learns from his mistakes, and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others." So, in this video, I'm going to share with you my two biggest mistakes that have been holding me back in my fitness journey, right? But first of all, who am I? My name is Muhammad, and I've been training for 3 years now, right? Ever since May and June of 2022. This is what I used to look like, right? I used to be fat, and this is what I look like now. So, bro, I've been in the whole spectrum, right? I used to be fat, then I lost the fat, then I was like really skinny, so I bulked up, gained some muscle, and here I am, right? So I've made countless like number of mistakes, but I've learned from them. I'm here to share with you the two biggest ones that have been holding me back. So now let's start with a quick recap of the last couple of years. So just like I said, I used to be fat and I've tried to lose the fat so many times, right? But I kept failing and failing and failing and failing. So after years of struggling with losing the fat, I finally do it, right? In May and June of 2022. I started again and I'm finally consistent and in a couple of months I lost the fat. So I liked it. It felt great that I've lost the fat that I've been struggling to lose for so long, right? So it felt great. I lost I lost the fat doing stuff that I liked, which was lifting weights, right? I barely did any cardio. I lost the fat, right? It was something that I liked. And then this is where the first mistake started. So after years of trying to lose the fat, I finally do it in May and June of 2022. And I've lost the fat in a couple of months. And bro, it felt great losing the fat and looking better and everything, becoming more healthier. And then this is where the first mistake starts. I kept trying to get leaner and leaner. I kept chasing leanness, right? I kept wanting more abs, like getting like even leaner. Because after I lost the fat, what happened? I looked kind of skinny fat. At the time, I didn't like really fully realize it, but I was kind of skinny fat, right? Like, of course, my face was like skinnier. It was like more defined and everything, but I was skinny fat, right? So I just kept chasing and trying to get leaner and trying to get abs and all that, right? And then I went to my first bulk because I kind of thought that I was skinny fat, right? So I went to my first bulk and I started gaining some fat on the bulk, which is obviously normal. I gained some fat on the bulk and said, no, this I'm gonna go back to my old ways. So I go on a crazy cut. What happens? I hit my all-time lowest weight, which was 62 kilograms. Right? Here's a picture. Right? I looked malnourished. Right? Like I've probably lost fat and lost muscle. Right? And at that point, I was training for like 1 year. Right? This picture is from June of 2023, a year into lifting, and I've lost probably all the muscle that I've built, right? And lost some fat, but like, for what, right? Anyways, so after this cut, I looked malnourished, but I was still skinny fat. I was already very skinny and everything, but I was still skinny fat. And skinny fat is this weird physique where you're really skinny. Sorry. And skinny fat is this weird physique where you're really skinny, but at the same time, you're not like lean. You're skinny, but you have this extra fat that doesn't want to go away. Like you're really skinny, you have skinny arms, everything's skinny, right? But like you have this extra fat, like extra belly fat doesn't want to go away. Like you look kind of weird, right? Anyways, the solution to the skinny fat physique is to bulk, build some muscle, right? As that's the problem, a low muscle mass. Anyways, I realized that the only solution is to bulk. So I started bulking, and then I repeat the cycle. I gain some fat. Oh no! I start cutting, 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 and I just keep going the same cycle. Short bulk. No, I'm gonna gain fat. Cut, 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 cut. Right. So fast forward to today. Right. I'm 3 years into this whole journey. Right. Fitness. I look way better. More knowledge. More muscle. Right. So I realized that there were two big mistakes that were holding me back. Right. And I've kind of hinted into the first one, which is not bulking enough and just obsessing over being lean. Right. Because, bro, when you start a fitness journey, the thing that's gonna make the biggest difference is building muscle, right? Obviously, if you're fat, cut first, become like skinnier or like leaner, right? And then start bulking. And now, what do you bulk? Because bulking is the single best way to build muscle. Forget main gaining, forget body recomp. No, the single best way to build muscle is to bulk, right? And you're gonna do it properly, No dirty bulking, no. You're gonna do it a lean bulk, like a clean bulk, right? No, like eating everything possible to gain it. No, no. You're gonna eat healthy, right? And eat not like really crazy amounts. Just eat a little bit more, right? And now, why do you bulk? Why do you build muscle and focus on building muscle? Because that's the thing that's going to make the biggest difference, right? Because for me, I've been training for 3 years, and I could have looked way better if I was bulking more. I would have had more muscle, right? So, bro, forget everything. Forget like say what I have to stay skinny. I have to be lean and six packs. No, no. Your goal at the first 2 years of your fitness journey is to bulk, right? Of course, if you get too fat, cut, but then keep bulking for like 2 years, right? Of course, in between, you might get too fat, or you might start at a higher body fat. Of course, if you get above 20% body fat, you have like extra face fat and all that, cut and then continue bulking, right? Because you want to build muscle, right? Anyways, forget everything you've been told about bulking. And bulking is bad. Main gaining, main gaining, main gaining. Body recomp, body recomp. No, you're going to bulk and commit to a bulk to build muscle and have a proper foundation, right? Because you're probably watching this, you're probably either skinny fat, skinny, or you're probably fat, right? So if you're fat right now, cut. If you're skinny fat, bulk. If you're skinny, bulk, right? Forget main gaining, forget the other stuff. If you're fat, cut. Skinny fat, skinny, bulk, right? You have to stop being so scared to gain fat because remember, it's a trade off. You gain muscle, you increase your testosterone. If you're a teenager, you might even grow taller. All of these great things for what? For the small price of gaining some fat in the process. Go for it. That's a great trade off because, bro, you can get more muscle, more testosterone, and even grow taller for a small price of gaining fat, which you can easily get rid of after the bulk, right? So that's a W trade off. And now, let's move into the second mistake, which has been holding me back, which is not eating enough protein, right? Because, bro, you've probably heard this advice to eat more protein, focus on eating more protein, right? And for me personally, yeah, I know that, but like, kind of neglected it for 2 years and a bit, right? I've recently started eating more protein, like properly, for about like now 3 months, about 3 months now. I've been seeing some great progress, right? So, bro, you must prioritize your protein intake. Stop just whatever. No, you must focus on that, right? It's I would say it's even more important than your sleeping, and that's because proteins are essential for muscle growth. And of course, you might say, actually, recover and sleep and recover and rest. I understand, but for me personally, my sleep has been really bad. But the things that I've seen that have been making the biggest change are training, obviously, my diet, and proper protein intake. Right? Sleep, of course, that's important. I'm not gonna say sleep is not important, but your protein intake is, I would say, it's a bit more important. Right? Remember that protein is essential for muscle growth. Don't repeat my mistake. Don't just do whatever. No, it is important. Keep that in mind. And bro, if you're ready to transform your physique and actually do it right, you can apply to my coaching program. First link in the description. And you can also join my free Discord server. It's a brotherhood for like-minded men who are trying to improve their lives. Right? Second link in the description. Thanks for watching. Take action. Assalamu alaikum.